Hello friends and music lovers. This is super off the cuff, but I just got these little bins at Weimart. They're like $4 each, and they're nice. Plastic. They're sturdy. They have these, they kind of look professional. You see these somewhere, and you're like, oh, that's where the band has their gear in or whatever, and that's the exact look I'm going for here. So I thought it'd be fun while I was sort of packing and organizing these to do one of those silly little like, what's in my gear bag thing, because I was packing what would be my like bring this to every gig box. I'm trying to sort of streamline the gig process so I can be ready to play gigs faster and have each one take less effort. That was one of the points behind the pedal board that I built. I made another video about that may not be up by the time this goes up. That made setting up for a jam super fast, and I want to have a dedicated, I might have more than one at a gig, but I want to have one that's definitely like, it's got all the stuff that I want at a gig, like extra cables, tape, anyway, so I'm going to go through it, I'm going to pack it, and then I'm going to decorate it with all these stickers I have around. So, what's first? Doesn't really matter. Here's an extension cord. It's a 3-prong extension cord, black, it's like 10 feet, very useful. Extra sustain pedal for the piano, in case the one I have messes up or something. Let's see. Microphone, of course, XLR. Always have one of those. Extra pedal patch cable, just, you never know when somebody will need one. Never hurts to have an extra little splitter block. Stand lights. This has a battery. It's like 3 AAAs. Several different kinds of tape. This teal tape is what I use to mark my stuff. Not everything is marked with it, but if I lend it out, I mark it with the teal tape. I did that just the other night when I went to jam, and one of the hosts, who's a guitarist, bassist, whatever, was like, it needed an instrument cable, and I was like, I've got some, and he needed a extra like power, whatever the kind is, for amps. I had one, and I'm really glad that I put my tape on them because I forgot them when I left the jam. So, but it was really easy for them to identify my chords and get them back to me. So, identifying tape, choose a color. I'm almost out of this, but it's here for now. Yes, the ugly, this is not aesthetic. I like using this for any time it needs to catch someone's attention as a potential hazard or something temporary. It is just that perfect ugly construction orange that, well, if you like this color, no shade, you're valid. But it works for me as a sort of a caution tape. So that's in there. Black duct tape. Black, I think this is gaffer tape, or some knockoff of gaff tape. While I'm at it, some Gorilla tape, why not? And electrical tape. So I'm taped out. My Bag O adapters used to be a Shure microphone case, but now it holds things like, high to low impedance or whatever way that is. Various kinds of TRS to this and that. This bag has come in handy at gigs many times. And it might be fun to just lay them all out in one place one time. And maybe test them out. Some of them might not even work. But it's really nice to, I've been collecting these over 10 or 15 years. And there may be one or two that I've actually never used, but it's like a safety blanket. My Bag O adapter. Yeah. That goes goes in there. This is your standard like iPod to mixing board thing. You can't ever have too many of these things. I buy them occasionally and I always seem to be needing more. At least one in the bag that I don't plan to use, because it's that one time when those DJ's like, oh my god, I forgot my one cable I needed, and I'm like, hello, cable coming right up. I'm useful, I'm professional. And four-way screwdriver, you know, always nice to have that around for anything. Also, very nice, sort of similar color scheme to the whole yellow and black. And of course, at least one extra instrument cable. I don't actually think I bought this. I think I inherited it. But this did come in handy the other night. Some people like this style. This is my only spare at the moment because, you know, I'm redoing everything. But at least one, preferably two, instrument cable in there. This here is kind of like a 1/8" extension cord, basically. So I'm probably not going to keep this all the time in here, but I need it for my own studio, but like for gigs I might pop that in there, because it's just one of those things where it's like, what if somebody just needs to extend a line somewhere? And it's like, hey, this is like 10 or something feet long, and anyway, I'll just put it in there for now. And you can't go wrong with an extra extension cord. It's not 3-prong, but you know, for lighting or for a lot of amps and other things, can do 2-prong. And it's one of those things like mic cables, instrument cables, and power cords of various kinds are the things that you can always just grab an extra one and bring it, and you're that much safer. I mean, don't hoard them, obviously. If you're never using them, maybe trim down, but I have a lot of extension cords, and I seem to be always happy that I have like an extra one around. So, turned on. Hello. And then I have these cable clamps, cable cuffs, which are more of a hardware store type of thing, or like these are, you find them more like on job sites and stuff, but they are a perfectly wonderful way to, you know, take up slack on a cable, or just to carry some, you know, just to store a cable or whatever. This is a big one, take it, you know, and then this is a little one. And so it's nice to have really easy, quick ways to just grab cables together, and these can do that. Another thing that can really come in handy is Velcro. This is just a tape of Velcro. This is kind of reused because I've used a lot of this before, and I have a bunch of smaller lengths, and you know, fortunately they can sort of be overlapped a lot, and they kind of like effectively function as one strip. They're not it's not quite as strong, but for a lot of applications you don't need strength as much as you just need something relatively durable for a few hours. So this is very nice for that. By the way, I thought of a neat little kind of cord cuff you can make with tape. I'm sure other people have thought of this, but I just sort of thought this on my own. And basically you take a little strip of tape, I just grab some off my duct tape roll and fold it on itself, so like there's a little bit of adhesive showing, but the rest is all just becomes, you know, just extra tape on both sides, or like not sticky on both sides. And then just sort of wrap it around the cord, and don't stick the adhesive on the cords but on the tape itself. Then that way it's pretty secure and it's easy to undo, because it's just a small bit that's adhesive, and you can reuse it a few times. So I just thought of that. Actually, I'm always curious to know what people's favorite way of like containing chords are. These seem to be every musician's bane of our existence, is how to contain and wrap chords in different settings. So like, if you want to put a comment like, what's your favorite way to wrap chords or to bring them on gigs or whatever, let me know, because I'm willing to spend a little bit of money on a nice a nice way to deal with chords. So this is my spare like amp cord. I forgot what the name of this is, but it's the kind for amps and for computers and everything else. So I have at least one extra of these. This came in handy just the other day. So what else? What else? Alright, so I started this video kind of mid brainstorm of what I should put in this. This is somewhat spur of the moment. So, I'm kind of brainstorming here as I'm putting stuff in my bag, my box, my professional looking box. So, actually, I just got these today. I actually think this is a great idea. I'm rather proud of it. Knee pads. I'm 38. My knees are already they're starting to warn me of future complaints, let's put it that way. And if there's one lesson I would teach anybody, who's younger, is like, take care of your body more than you feel like you need to. Because, like, yeah, I know it feels like you don't need to. You have a bit of a buffer in your body that we all run up against, and now is the age where it's like, I'm bringing knee pads to a gig. Because setting up involves kneeling. There we go. Let's see. I've got this other sustain pedal too. It doesn't work anymore, but it looks pretty professional. So if I want a better look, just for show, there. Extra pair of glasses, definitely just toss that in right there. Timpani mounts, of course. Like, not every gig there's going to be a timpanist, but if there is, and they're suddenly out of their whatever hardness this is, I'll be like, I gotcha. Here's your just it's insurance. Extra VGA cable. I mean, this is like 20-year-old technology and nobody uses it anymore, but for that one show where you have a projector and there's some old school video person who's like a little drug addled and they're like, oh man, I forgot my VGA cable. I'd be like, hey bro, sis, sib, I gotcha. VGA cable in the bag. Extra Bluetooth speaker, definitely one of that. Scotch tape, this stuff is useless, but you never know. Extra guitar strap. I mean, this is not for guitar or bass gigs, but sometimes it's just nice to have a strap. Extra screwdriver, because sometimes, like, what if you got a bunch of people setting up and they all forgot screwdrivers? Little knife. Who knows when you have to, like, wield it against some cop or something. Extra pipe, always good. Oh yeah, cat ears, definitely. Power supply for my Launchpad Pro. Now this isn't for bringing in the Launchpad Pro, but it doesn't need the power supply, really. But it's just kind of nice to have an extra power supply. I mean, this one's what? Oh, I mean, you never know when you'll need an extra 12-volt adapter. I mean, so might as well just drop it in there. Extra mouse, you never know. Sure, drop it in there. Sriracha sauce, so useful for every gig. Just make sure that the bottle is closed. Now this one, I'm on the fence, but this is my extra drill bits and stuff. Like, I'm not gonna bring my drill. That's ridiculous. Nobody needs a drill at a gig. But I mean, sometimes you need a masonry bit for something, or just like a square. Those it's weird. Stranger things have happened. So you know what? Going in there. Extra microphones. These are kind of weird condenser mics that were on some weird musician's friend's sale. They're okay. They're not that great, but having extra mics on hand is just a good idea. Couple of ciders in there. Okay. I think that might be our bare bones bring this to every gig box. Unfortunately, not everything's fitting into it, so I might have to revisit a few of these. Okay, so obviously some of those weren't so great for a gig box, but this is kind of everything I settled upon: the tape and the cords and the adapters and the tools and the knee pads, and kind of going back and forth on the cat ears. Honestly, I might want to just have these out for regular use, but it's also you really don't want to be at a gig without your cat ears. So I might just put them in here for now. I know where they are. And oh yes, and a single drumstick, Lucky Stick, just nice to have.